You're right. It's time for some bed. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, Jesus! What the? What? Damn! Damn! Who threw that? Oh man! Another one? Oh, for Pete's sake! Are these mine? Finally! Ooh. So, Core Man, you like to help gamers out, do you? Well, first, you'll have to be able to help yourself! I'll take this. Oh, my head. It actually feels like I've gotten games thrown at my... Impossible. I thought these games had gone back.
Gone back? What do you mean?
Well, these two games were so difficult that I sent them back to the hell from whence they came.
Hey, what's going on here? Who's the monkey?
Never mind the monkey. I've been given a chance to help gamers beat this game and defeat Scar.
Who?
You know, Scar?
Who's got a scar?
Nobody. I'm talking about your friend's uncle.
The monkey's his uncle?
I said forget the monkey. I'm going to help gamers beat this game so they can help Simba defeat his uncle and take his place as king.
Oh.
They still don't get it. Hello everyone and welcome to Gamers in Need, the show that helps you with those tough bosses, complicated puzzles, or just shows you the way when you're lost. Now today, we're going to be covering one of the most difficult games I had as a child. Disney's The Lion King. The game was released in 1994 for the three major systems of that time, the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy, and the Sega Genesis. But it didn't matter what system you had it for, the game was near impossible to beat. In fact, the only system I've been able to beat it on was for the Sega Genesis, and it was recently too. Therefore, my main focus for this episode will be on the Sega port of this game. If you own The Lion King for the Super Nintendo, then a lot of what I'm going to say will help you out as well. The only difference between the two ports are the controls and the quality of music. However, if you also own it for the Game Boy, like I do, you're on your own. I can't even get past the second level of it. I have no idea why. I just cannot beat this game. If there's any of you who have beaten this version of the game already, You are a far better gamer than I am, and I congratulate you. Now go to those gaming forums and find those people who brag that they've beaten both Dark Souls games 3 or 4 times and shove this in their face. As for the rest of you, let's get to beating the other versions. There are 2 aspects of The Lion King which could pose challenging for gamers, especially children, which this game is aimed at. This game doesn't have any puzzles in it, so that just leaves us with the platforming and the bosses. Unfortunately, there's no real trick to getting through all the platforming bits. Some levels, like the second level, aka the I Just Can't Wait to Be King level, has a couple parts where you ride an ostrich and have to jump or duck deadly obstacles, which can kill you in 1 hit. Yes, Simba has a life bar, but it doesn't matter. If you're riding an ostrich at top speed and you hit a branch, you're going to die. At least according to this game. Other parts of this game, such as the Stampede level, require you to either have a great reaction time or a good memory. Not only do you have the wildebeest coming from behind to run you over and take about half your health, but you'll have rocks coming from the front trying to trip you up, doing about 1/4 of your health in damage. As far as platforming goes, some of it consists of tricky jumps where you have to jump off the tip of one platform just to make it to the other. The only thing I can say to help you out with that is look before you leap. If you can. To make things worse, halfway through the game, Simba grows up, making you change how you deal with enemies. That now leaves us with the bosses. This game only has 2 actual bosses. Of course, those who have seen the movie would know that Scar would be one of them. In fact, he would be the last boss. Well, no, you would be right. The second boss is an angry gorilla? Ape? Well, whatever he is, he's found at the end of the jungle level, or the Hakuna Matata level.
Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata, ain't no passing craze.
It means no worries for the rest of your days.
Yeah, say it, kid. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
What? You can't tell me you didn't see that coming. Anyway, this gorilla isn't too much of a problem once you figure out his pattern, and know how to avoid being bitch-slapped. The real problem is with Scar himself. Even if you manage to make it all the way to the top of Pride Rock, where the final battle takes place, if you don't know how to perform the correct move, you won't beat Scar. Ever. Trust me, I had managed to get this far when I was a kid, but this was as far as I could get. Now that we've established how hard this game actually is, let's go through it level by level. Do I even need to help you with this level? This level is easy as it was designed to help you to get used to young Simba's moves. Don't worry about failing to make a jump, as the only repercussion is that you have to climb back up. The only problem you may have is that with the hyena at the end, which, by the way, I do not count as a boss since he goes down in 1 hit if you're playing on easy difficulty. Just avoid him until he starts panting, then jump on him. This level can be hard. As mentioned before, there are parts of this level where you ride an ostrich and must jump or duck to avoid obstacles. The good news is, the first time you do this, an arrow appears to tell you whether you need to jump or duck. Although, you need to figure out the timing yourself. The bad news is the second time you jump on the ostrich, you're on your own. Just jump when you see a baby rhino and duck when you see a low branch. The main problem will be when you get to a rhino and a low branch combine. You must hit the jump button twice to have both the ostrich and Simba jump through 2 different openings in the branches. The key to this is to jump when you are as close as you can to the rhino, then, about a second later, jump again. It may take a few tries to get the timing right, but eventually you'll make it through. The other tricky part to this level is the monkeys. They will throw you from branch to branch and from tree to tree. The trick here is to roar at any pink monkeys that you stop on as you are being thrown. Also, the only rhino you must jump on to continue is the first one you come across, yet the monkeys throw you to a tree on another island completely. After roaring at the pink monkey, you must carefully cross the water using the bobbing logs. Once back on the other side, roar at the first pink monkey, and the way should be set. hyenas, tricky jumps, buzzards, and geysers. Just be careful of any bones that may fall from under Simba. The geysers can cause a problem too, as they can kill you in one hit. Once there, walk to the edge of the platform and jump on the ledge above you instead of jumping to the ledge on the other wall. This will give you a good head start as you climb up and away from the geyser. Like I said before, this level is all about fast reaction time and memorization. The only tip I can give you is to stay in front of the slower moving wildebeest, as faster ones will usually pass first, allowing you to avoid the slower ones later. Also, get used to the timing that the rocks appear. Jumping them can sometimes be easier than dealing with the wildebeest. Run, run, and keep running. Your main issue in this level will be the rocks falling from above. Add some tricky platforming and a couple of situations where you're running from a boulder that can one-shot you, and you have the recipe for a tough level. Just make sure you know how to do the roll, as there are porcupines at the end of those boulder runs, and you won't have time to roar at them. The level that will have you singing your way to the end. This is the last level you play as young Simba, so expect to be put to the test. The main problems here are the waterfall and the gorilla at the end, though I always have a tougher time with the waterfall. The key is to jump on the slower logs as you wait for the faster ones to come down, so you can defy gravity and climb the waterfall. You will probably fall a few times, but it's not that big of a problem unless you fall into the water at the bottom. The boss at the end will throw coconuts at you while eating a banana. Avoid or jump on the coconuts, but do not attack him just yet. Attacking while he throws coconuts will end with you getting bitch slapped. Instead, wait for him to get to his feet and then pounce on him. Wait too long to attack, and he will smash the ground before going back to throwing coconuts at you. It could be a long fight, but it's not too hard. This level is like the Pride Lands in regards to it being designed to get you used to adult Simba's moves. You lose your ability to roll and gain the ability to slash with your claws. You can also jump on any panting foes such as panthers and continuously hit your slash button. You will claw at them constantly as they will try to push you off. The faster you tap your slash button, the harder it will be for the enemy to push you off. Also, and this is very important, when an enemy is panting, such as a panther or a hyena, you push the directional pad in the opposite direction you're facing and roll your thumb over the B and C. Simba will grab his opponent, go onto his back, and throw his opponent away. It's not a skill that you really need to learn right now, but you will have to learn it near the end of the game, so I suggest practicing it whenever you can. Throughout the level, there are boulders that you must cut free in order to proceed. Just be careful when these boulders are moving, as they can kill you in one hit no matter what side you touch them from. There are also a couple of spots where you will be blocked by an arc of sorts made of vines. Panthers will spawn out of this arc one by one, and you must kill each one to proceed. Problem here is that these panthers will spawn even if you haven't killed the one before it, so you must kill each one quickly. My strategy has always been to hug the arc and spam the slash button. You'll kill the panther before another one shows up, and you won't even take any damage. As a fan of the movie, this next level doesn't sit well with me. It's supposed to represent the part where Simba's returning to Pride Rock, but according to the movie, he was running through a desert, not a volcano. Despite that, I find this level to be the hardest level of the game. First and foremost, if you see a bat hanging from the ceiling, jump up and slash at it, as they could be the second biggest nuisance in the level, with the first being the drops of lava falling from the ceiling. This level will put your skills as a gamer to the test, as you avoid the pre-mentioned bats and lava drops while fighting off hyenas and panthers. Eventually, you will reach a room with 2 lava geysers. Beside each one is what looks like destructible rocks and a stalactite above both. The key is to jump on the geysers when they aren't erupting, and jump up to slash at the stalactites above. It'll take about 3 or 4 hits, but it will soon fall and take the rock below with it. The question now is, which one is the right path? Well, they both are, but the first one drops you to a safe zone with a checkpoint, whereas the furthest one drops you down onto a rock floating on lava, but you'll collect a 1-up and other goodies. I suggest only the bravest and greatest of gamers to take the furthest path, as you'll miss out on the checkpoint. If you aren't too confident in your skills, then take the first path. As you ride the floating rock, you will eventually come up to a place where you must climb over the platforms as the rock continues to float away. You must keep up with that rock, as you must jump back on it later. The enemies on this platform will try to stop you, but it may just be easier to avoid them altogether. Don't bother fighting, just run. The last part of this level consists of more geysers. These ones shoot all the way up to the ceiling and hit it with so much force that it sends the rocks falling down on top of you. Best way to avoid the rocks is to stand on the geysers that isn't erupting. If the geyser you're standing on starts to erupt, jump to another one. After the geysers hit the ceiling about 5 times, rocks will fall down and plug them one at a time. After they're all plugged, jump on the furthest geyser and it will shoot you up and out of the level. This level isn't as hard as it is frustrating. It's essentially a tunnel maze where you must walk through several tunnels which will take you to another part of the level or send you back to the start. The frustrating part about this is when you take the wrong path, you have to start over again, and any hyenas you killed will respawn, and you can't go through the tunnels until all enemies in the area are dead. Luckily, I'm going to tell you which paths are right, so you'll only have to kill the hyenas once to get through.
Aren't you lucky?
Alright, at the start of the level you'll want to take the rightmost path. This will take you to 3 rooms that only have one path to choose from. Just kill all hyenas in the room and proceed until you reach a room with several paths on the lower section of the room and 2 paths, including the one you came from, slightly raised up. Kill the hyenas and enter the path right next to the door you came in from. Do not be fooled, as another one of these paths was made to look like the correct way to go, but it just loops you back into this same room. Kill the hyenas in the next room and enter the only other path there. This will bring you to a room with 2 hyenas, one right next to you and the other above you. Scale the ledges up the wall and try to coax the hyena to come down, or, if you can, fight him up there. Once he's dead, climb the wall again and enter the left path. This will take you to a room with no other exit except for the one you entered in. This is the last room. Kill the 4 hyenas in the room and the level will end.
Finally, the last level of the game. You will encounter Scar immediately, and now it's time to defeat him in the most manliest way possible. Or you can just bitch slap him to death. That works too. In the game's defense, it did kind of look like that in the movie.
Okay, there are 2 ways to go about this fight, the long and safe way, or the quick and dangerous way. The long way is just slashing at him twice and letting him back up and get closer again. Once in range, slash at him twice more and let him back up and get closer. Attacking him while he backs away will only make him block your attack, so don't bother. Keep doing this until he runs away. This process can take a long while, but the upside is you will very rarely take damage, as this prevents Scar from finding an opening and a chance to attack back. The quick way involves jumping on him when he is panting and tapping your slash button to do some major damage, like you would with the panthers or hyenas. He will most likely pant after you slash at him once, giving you the chance to jump on him. Problem is, if he pushes you off before you deal the correct amount of damage, he will have a chance to slash at you, making you take unnecessary damage. Also, don't get too far from him. Just like the hyenas, he will jump after you, which will hurt if he lands on you. So, choose whatever method suits you and follow him when he runs away. You'll have to go through a few hyenas and some platforming bits before you catch up to Scar. Watch out for the lightning, as they will set the ground on fire, which of course hurts. Also, watch out for the 2 rows of hooks that you must swing across. The bottom row will take you to a bug that will heal you, but will also drop you down to the beginning of the level. I suggest only taking this route if absolutely necessary. Good news is neither Scar nor any hyena you defeat will respawn, but you still need to watch out for the lightning and the fire it makes. Don't worry about taking damage from the hyenas, as there will be a heal bug just before you encounter Scar once more. Just don't take too much damage. Once you climb up a bit, you will find Scar once more. Just use either of the 2 methods I mentioned earlier to beat him and he will run away again. If you took damage from your fight with Scar, there is a heal bug above you, just need to use the ledges to climb up and grab it. Chase after Scar again, going through more hyenas, more lightning and fire, and even more platforming. If you feel the hyenas are too much, just feel free to skip them. Your main issue will be the fire, as you will spend a lot of time avoiding it as you jump from platform to platform. Once at the top, you will face Scar for the final time. Again, use any of the 2 methods you are comfortable with, but this time he won't run away. After he takes enough damage, he will stand there panting. He won't attack, he won't move, he just pants. So what do? I'll show you. Pay attention though, as you may miss it.
Did you get that? I'll show it to you again. Pay close attention. That was the throw attack that I told you about when I was explaining adult Simba's moves. Hopefully you had a chance to practice it, as this is the only way to defeat Scar. And did the game tell you that? Nope. Nothing. The game's manual did tell you that Simba could do such a move, but you wouldn't have thought that you could actually do it on a boss, let alone the final boss. As a child, I couldn't even figure out that that was the move I had to do. It wasn't until recently that it dawned on me that I had to use that move. You want to know what tipped me off? The movie. Yeah. Take a look. As you can see, the two moves were very similar. Simba was on his back, and Scar was thrown over the edge. That's it. Movie's over, game's beaten, we're all happy. If you feel like beating this game yourself, I suggest playing it for the Sega Genesis. There is no better port of this game, and don't argue with me. As you saw, I own the Game Boy version, and I have played the Super Nintendo version. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is better than this. I rest my case. Now, if you excuse me, I feel like playing another Disney title, so I'm gonna go and play some Goof Troop for the Super Nintendo. What? Where did my... I could have sworn my Super Nintendo and games were here last night. Where did they...
Hello, Core Man. Looking for something?
Oh no. That wasn't just a dream last night. Was it? SNES.
Who's the monkey?